Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 4 of Roster Talk, and today I'm joined by another in-game leader, but also an AWPer, Stev0se, mate. It's been a little while since we've had a chat.
Yeah, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing incredibly well, but maybe you guys might be in a little bit of time. Let's go back just ever so slightly, right? Let's start off with 2021 because I remember like the first sort of portion of 2021, there was a lot of results coming in. You guys were getting in a lot of HLTV tournaments. So when this lineup all came together, you guys were from the Maestro team, right? And from what the lineup looks like today, it's almost the exact same team. So tell me how that all started with you guys actually going to EC Brugge.
I was playing with ritchiEE and simix like already from the start of 2019, so our core was like set, but we always had a problem with like finding the correct players to stay longer than just one season with the team. And then we came with Matty and Otis, like we knew them from playing in FPLC, and we just gave it a try. Like we already knew when we started Maestro that we would have the org coming up, so it was just like waiting for the time before we got announced to the org. But like we built this roster for playing at Brugge.
And I think you guys all came together about sort of February time, at least with the new org. But when it came to about May, I think this is where we actually started seeing the changes almost come through, right? We saw ritchiEE parting ways, and then you had Rylax filling in for a little bit, and H&S filling in for a little bit. So tell me about that sort of period of the team. Like, what was going on? Was it struggling to find a fifth, and that's why stand-ins were coming through?
Like when like after 4 months, ritchiEE told us like he was not going to resign, so we had to search for another player, but it was really hard like to replace ritchiEE. So first he still standing for us like 1 month, but like the vibes were not good anymore when we were playing. Like there was not much motivation from players like to play like this because yeah, this player is leaving. It's always like a little bit less good atmosphere. And then yeah, the trouble started because it was hard to find a replacement first because when we replaced ritchiEE was our like big star player, and we can add someone else but he will never have the same impact, so actually we needed to change even more on our roster, but we didn't. So we kept on trying with like different new fifths, and yeah, then we came with like Necrogenesis, I think, for the season.
Yeah.
But first, like, our first plan was actually to like play with Rylax and ritchiEE instead of then simix and ritchiEE just taking over his own position. But then ritchiEE told us like we won against Tangal with 16-0 in the second map, and after this game, like ritchiEE told us that he's not going to continue to play, so it was a bit unfortunate. And then the next day, Relax told us he's gonna take another opportunity. I think it was at Finest
Mm.
because of ritchiEE not staying. So instead of 5 players, we were down to 3 players, and we recovered like simix and then went on the search. Like we tested, I think, H&S and then Necro, and then we kept Necro for like to play out the season.
Oh, maybe this is a good opportunity to talk about Necro, because whenever I've seen him playing, it's always been in like the Serbian, like Balkan sort of scene, whereas playing with like a couple of guys from Belgium and from Poland, it was probably a very new environment for him. So what was sort of the decision of why bringing in Necro? And I think at the same time, like Krapal came over, the guy that was playing on Project Eversio, but he wasn't part of the full team. He was sort of like a sub sixth man. So both of those changes happened. Was that more so trying to just get players in the roster?
Yeah, like we needed 3 Benelux players to play our regional event, so we needed to add someone because there is not many players in Belgium or Netherlands who are good and can play full time. So we had to look at options for like having a sub for like these local league games. So we went for Crepo. Like he didn't have any proof yet of being good, but like I played a few times with or against him, or I saw him play, and I thought he was a decent player to give like a chance to get in our team, like to get experience to win like this local event. And then yeah, Necro, uh, like we were all friends already from like in FPLC, so it was not like nobody knew each other or anything, so it was really easy to go on with. But in the first like 3-4 weeks, we had really good results with Necro. We were like 8-0 in advanced, and then we couldn't win any more games suddenly, and then we both decided that it was better to like go for something else. And that was about Necro, I think, everything I can tell. But he's
Okay.
a really good player, like
Hmm.
he's nice to play with. He doesn't play for himself, like he plays for the team.
Good teammate by the sounds of it. And maybe another good teammate is ritchiEE coming back into the lineup. So we saw Necro going, and then we saw ritchiEE coming back. That must have been the stint, right, where he was playing with the Gorillas guys. And we all know, like, how all that panned out and the lack of results. So was that more so just realizing Gorillas look like a very good project on paper, great players, good sort of mindset of being maybe a top 30, top 40 team, but it just doesn't happen at all, that he comes back to the team? Because if you kind of spoke about him moving away, almost seems like a little bit odd that he just wants to come back again.
Yeah, well, he didn't really come back, like he wasn't signed to this. He was just helping me out because I was telling him like we have roster issues, you have nothing to do. Just we were just playing officials only, like
Right.
we played like one warm-up game just before our official, and these officials because like ritchiEE didn't want to break, and like we didn't have a better player at that time to like fit in his shoes, so we preferred to just play with him like we had our structure anyway from before, and just to continue and play officials only until we found like another player and or he found another team.
Hmm.
So it
Okay.
was really hard to play. Like only like these first 4 months of 2021, we were really like a five-man team who were practicing together every day. And back then we could do good results, but without work, it's really hard to like perform constantly.
Hmm. And it felt like even sort of this period, right, where ritchiEE leaves the team again to go over to Gorillas, that we're getting into a point of more standards. I mean, Blaney came through, and then there was even a portion for a few games where the lineup was core Polish. So, what was going
That's
on
true.
there?
This was one day, bro. This was one day
One day,
where we had
okay.
like, where we had like, I think three different best of threes on HLTV on the same day, and we played like with Polish flag. After this one day, I was like, no, no, we are not going to stay with this Polish flag.
Well, I think around that sort of time, we saw probably some of the more known signings of Cryon coming for, because, I mean, he played with you guys for a little while, and then Cisco as well. I'm not too familiar with him, but obviously Chiron we've seen before playing in the CIS scene, so
Yeah, it's
that
like
was
a
like,
really,
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
No,
It's
I
a
was just going to
really
say
talented.
September, wasn't it? About
Yeah,
then?
yeah, like a month and a half he stayed, but
Hmm.
like he was going to school. It was really hard. We could only practice from like 16 every day when normally we start at 13 or 12.
Hmm.
So it was really hard, and for him it was hard as well because he had to leave like 5:30 in the morning to go to school, and then he arrives back at home and he needs to play all night,
Hmm.
because like he was such a good player. I swear, if he gets some experience with like playing for the team and playing smart, then he will be an awesome player because he's so skilled.
Hmm. Okay, and I guess the next one, obviously difficult one to bring up, is obviously Fusion. I mean, rest in peace to him. I mean, it's a heartbreak to hear what happened, but he played with you guys for what, 2 months? So what was
Yeah,
that
two,
like?
3 months I think,
Yeah.
until like almost the break he played with us,
Hmm.
and yeah, this when I heard this news like that he died, this was I was in full shock, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Because
like, just as a person, like, what was he like? Because I think a lot of people out there, like, obviously saw the news, but didn't know Fusion at all. So what was he like as a teammate, just as a person?
he was a really nice guy, and like he was really emotional about this game. Like if we won, he could be happy for like the next 2 days, and yeah, it was just a nice guy. He didn't have anything bad in him. It's just sad.
Yeah, very much so. And that was sort of like towards the end of the year. I think you had like Corey standing in for a little
Yeah,
bit as well.
we were like testing already for like this year for
Hmm.
the next lineup. Like we had Corey, we tested a bit with Sadik, and also with Blitz.
Yes. Yeah.
So this was pretty good. Like I liked it when I played with these players. They were really good. But like Sadik said, his offer from Alu. Blitz also thought he had an offer from Alu, but Alu had an offer with Sadik, so this was fake. But I couldn't tell him.
Yeah. Okay.
So he went for that offer, even though I knew like there is not gonna be an offer because he's gonna go with Sadik's, you know. But yeah, I couldn't tell him. Like it's not my thing to tell him. I
Yeah.
told him, "Are you sure you wanna risk it for the team?" I said, "Yeah, I'm just gonna take the risk." And yeah, when we had our 5 players, he wrote me like, "Yeah, the project didn't go through. Do you still have a spot on your team?" But yeah, unfortunately, it was too late.
Yeah, just a matter of timing sometimes. And I
Yeah,
guess
of
coming
course.
into this year, it actually feels like for the first time in probably 6 months, 7 months, the full
Yeah,
five is here. Like,
yeah,
Gringo signed to the team, ritchiEE's back again. So tell me about this lineup, because obviously the core from the start of the year is basically the exact same lineup.
yeah. It's 4 players, like, but now ritchiEE is back like on full-time base, so we're
Mm.
breaking every day. We're working really hard. I feel like in next months it will become really good results. Uh, and I'm really happy that we got ritchiEE back because I played with him for like 3 years non-stop, and when I didn't play anymore with him, it was like I was less motivated to like
Mm.
come work every day and come because like with ritchiEE I did like 10 events together on LAN every time, and this is more like friends from real life than just gaming, you know?
And for someone like ritchiEE, probably from about January, February to maybe the middle of the year, June, July sort of time, it looked as if ritchiEE was going to be like the next massive prospect from Tier 2. The numbers that he was putting up, the roles that he was being put in, but then it kind of felt like after he left you guys and sort of went elsewhere, never really found his form. So I ask you, being the in-game leader, looking and playing with someone like ritchiEE every day, do you reckon coming into this year that he can get back to that form that we saw from him in the early portion of 2021? Because he was mental.
I can already tell you that he's already playing better than he was playing back then. Like, I know, like, I watched a lot of the Gorillas game because, like, I was interested to see, like, what ritchiEE is gonna do on other role and, like, in a team where he's not gonna be the star player, you know, with players like Sonny and Sergey and Flusha.
Mm.
So I feel like they put him on wave, not the ideal role for him. Like if a team wants to get him, they need to like take him for his star player role. Like give him the freedom to do whatever he wants. Just getting someone to go beat him just to flash for him so he can kill everyone. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is how we do it. Like if we have one AK on CT side, we throw it to ritchiEE. Like this is just how we play, and we know that on like a normal day he's already performing really good, but on a good day he can just win the game for us. Like if we just support him well, and I think that was missing in like this other team, and
Mm.
I don't feel like you need to put him on like entry positions where he needs to go out with his low sense. He has like 1.5 cents with 400 DPI, I think. You cannot turn left and right like in 1 millisecond with his sense. So for entry fragging, this is not possible. You tell him where he is and he will kill him, you know. But
Well, I'm excited to see what ritchiEE does. Who also I'm excited about is Gringo, because this is a guy that I've seen in the past play with the LDLC boys over on Ambush. But from what I remember, he's never played on an English-speaking team before. It's always been French teams. So
Yeah, of course. Like
yeah,
99% of the French, they will never play in an English team because the French people, they most of the time only speak French, and if they speak English, it's really weird for them. Like even on television, every like normal soap is translated into French. You know, they don't hear a
right.
single word of English in their country, so it's really hard for them. But I feel like Gringo, like we knew each other already from like all the events he went to in Belgium, but he's a nice guy and his English is starting to get better and he just needs some time with his, but we don't have any communication problems in game, just sometimes when we're talking on TeamSpeak, it was hard to understand what he was trying to say, you know.
Well, I guess as well, we've kind of gone through the majority of players. One guy that we touched on slightly was obviously simix. Now, he's sort of a sub on this team, so what do we think the future's going to be for simix? Is he just going to be a sub player for the rest of the year, or eventually when his contract runs out, or what's the whole factor here with simix?
Like simix is now doing the role that Krepper was doing before. Like he's gonna play with us when we need like 3 Belgian players for events like ASL and Elite Series. But apart from that, we are just playing with R5. We're not practicing with simix. He's just there for the officials and doing the tournaments, and that's it.
And
it's good to have like someone like this because it's hard to find a player who just there for like a few officials and for the rest he cannot play, you know?
Yeah, just filling in when it's required, like you mentioned, some of those local events needing the core. I mean, for you guys, I think it was about maybe May time last year, you reached 64th in the world on HLTV. I'm kind of trying to get a vibe of what the goal is for this year. Are we looking at top 50, top 40, even further than that? Is there some goals that maybe you've got for the team?
Like, we want before like June to get back to this top 60, and after we can set other goals, but at the moment it's really hard. Like when you see these Pinnacle regional events right now, they are stacked already, you know. It's really hard to get into events, so let's hope we get some chances somewhere and we can go up faster, because if we need to wait for like our local events to come to the finals, then we're already in April, you know. And it would be a waste if we like cannot perform internationally in the meanwhile. Because we're only dropping in ranks because the only officials we played was when we were 2 days together. We didn't play good in like a tournament #1 final, so it was pretty important for us, but we played really bad, and it was just all new with like Gringo, first time playing in English, I think. ritchiEE just came back, like we played only 2 days, so it was like rusty, shaky, and our opponents were owning us, so nothing to do. And then after we played into the breach, but we still only had like 2 or 3 weeks of practice, so we lost 2-1 and that was it.
Oh, I guess
the event this year at the moment, so unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you're trying to send a message to some of the TOs out there, invite these guys, get them some more experience, get their rankings back up there. Any message to like the fans and the supporters of the team?
Yeah, of course. Like also, there's a lot of hype right now in Belgium because this major is coming to us.
Sure.
You know? It's like partly helped by this organization from Elite Series who helped getting it to Antwerp. So it's a really good opportunity for like the normal people in Belgium to like get known to this Counter-Strike scene, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Because
are you going to be going to the major?
Yeah, of course. Like
there we are.
we have already our tickets before they are on sale, you know, so
Oh,
it's fine.
yeah. Got it there quick.
Of course, like you have to be quick for this, you know. This never happens. Like it's 20 minutes from my door max, so it's really nice.
Yeah, well, perfect, Stev0se. Well, thanks for having the time, mate, and best of luck with the next season, and hopefully we get to see you rise up the rankings and play some more officials on HLTV.
Thank you, man. Have a nice day.